اقرأ أخيا ورتل القرآن اصبح بصوتك اسمع الأكوان اقرأ كلام الله داوي نفوسنا لنحس فيه.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Let's start by looking at our topic. Today our group will present how our mind is working. I am Rakibul Hassan. I am the first presenter from our group. I will explain how the mind processes data and information and what are the end result of this process. To begin with, what is our mind? The mind is the set of faculties including cognitive aspects such as consequentness, imagination, perception, thinking, intelligence, judgment, language, and memory, as well as non-cognitive aspects such as emotion and instinct. Well, now the question is how the mind processes data and information. There are three stages of data and information processing. Number one, input. Number two, storage. And finally, number three, output. Input. The brain is exposed to a stimulus, at which point it analyzes and evaluates the information. For example, the online learner reads a passage and determines whether it's worth remembering. Storage, we can call it memory. Our brains store the information for later use. It also adds it to our mental schema and encodes it. If information is not reinforced, the brain may simply forget it over time. Output. The brain decides what it's going to do with the information and how it will react to the stimulus. For example, after reading the passage, the individual uses the information they learned to overcome a challenge. Let's move on to our next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum everyone, my name is Rakib. Thinking and creative thinking. What does it mean? Thinking is a term in which the definition is regarding to the process of us to solve any problems by using our mind, making a wise decision or create a new good idea that might help us to solve the problem. There are so many types and characteristics of thinking process that we as a human being are capable with. By thinking, people can develop and create various of new ideas that might be useful for themselves and can give benefits to others. There are so many types of thinking. Some of them are remembering, understanding, and applying. The characteristics of thinking process are like observation, curiosity, and inference. Creative thinking is associated with our ability to create or construct something new that has uniqueness in ideas or unusual ideas. Every one of us are capable of creative thinking, and we have the ability to construct or process out all new, fresh ideas based on our own creativity. And the skill needed in creative thinking are like perception, analytical, open-mindedness, organized, and communication. In Quran, there are so many words that mention about thinking or understanding. All of them are from Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 269. He gives wisdom to whom He wills, and whoever has been given wisdom has certainly been given much good, and none will remember except those of understanding.
For this part, what we can understand and learn is the limitation of the human mind. First, the human mind is limited about the spiritual world, Jannah, hell, and mostly things that cannot be seen and cannot be predicted are the things that human mind was limited toward it. As example, We as humans does not know when Yaumul Qiyamah will happen, and why the worst case happen. Some humans do not believe Yaumul Qiyamah. Human mind is limited to spiritual world due to five senses that humans have, which is touch, sight, hear, taste, and lastly smell. Based on these senses, the human mind tends to use logical thinking to analyze something at the very first place. Whatever things that seems illogical, the human mind surely will think that is nonsense and reject the ideology. Since human mind is limited, we as Muslims can learn and think deeply the attribute of Allah from His creation. We certainly have ever pondered how the sky was built and does not fall, although there was no column to support it. From there, we can learn the attribute of Allah, which is Allah is the Almighty, which can create anything as He commands. We can look back into Surah Yasin, chapter 36, verse 82. All it takes when He wills something to be is simply to say to it, be, and it is.
What is the importance of thinking?
The role of thinking in Islam is to differentiate human and other creatures. By thinking, it sets us apart from plants, animals, and all other creatures. Humans have been given akal by Allah, so we have to put that intellect into use. If we as Muslims refuse to think, we are ignoring one of our ni'mah gifts to us humans. As we know, Allah is the creator of all things in the universe. In this world, there are many questions that we ask. To understand is to find reason why the things the way they are. We always need to do thinking. That way we can solve more questions and get more knowledge. And we will get closer to Allah. We will discover a lot of Allah's greatness, and the more we are in awe of God's planning. In Islam, it is very important that we can distinguish between good and bad, halal and haram. Doing thinking is one of the ways so that we are being a good Muslim. We are required to act morally, but when we do an action after we think, the success and the failure are entirely in Allah's hand.